friends, I want to wrap up my October reading. I did do a mid-month wrap up, which I'll put link below, and covered most of the books that I read in October and was pretty happy with where I was with my reading at that time and thinking maybe I'll read more because I've kind of I think I was at 4 or 5 at midpoint. But that did not happen. I read 2 more books, which I think is a total of six books. Um, yeah, I read a total of 6 books for October, which is one more than I have been. So I guess that's a win. But October, the second half, there wasn't a lot of reading time happening. Work was just super busy. So the first 3 books that I read I did a vlog for because I was trying to find a 5-star. This was part of my first episode in my rebooting my reading year. And like I said, I'll link the vlog below, but I did not find a 5-star, but I did find 2 books that were 4 stars, right? Yeah, 4 stars. So the first one I read was People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I read this one because I had previously given Beach Read by Emily Henry a 5-star, and so I thought maybe I would give another of hers a 5-star. I really liked this book. There were just a few parts of it that were just a little ridiculous for me. But Emily Henry can write romance and she can write banter like no one else. I love it. So watch the vlog, 4 stars. Definitely recommend Emily Henry, and I will be reading more Emily Henry in the future. And then the other 4-star from that video was Where the Line Bleeds by Jesmyn Ward. I read this because I read Let Us Descend by Jesmyn Ward, and it was a 5-star, one of my favorite books a couple of years ago. And let's see, I gave this one a 4-star. This is her debut from back in, when did you come out? 2008. Can definitely tell a little bit of a difference in the writing style. Not a lot, but the story was good. There was just some points that kind of lagged a little bit for me, but I still love Jesmyn Ward. And like I said, a 4-star, and I have several other Jesmyn Ward books on my shelf to read. And then the disappointment sort of that vlog was the Twyford Code by Janice Hallett. I've previously read The Appeal and The Mysterious Case of the Alberton Angels and given 5 stars to those, 4.5 to 5 stars to those. I've also read The Christmas Appeal, and it was like a 3-star for me, but I still want to read Janice Hallett's work. So I tried the Twyford Code, and I'd heard that not everybody loves this book, and I can kind of see why. But check out the vlog and get more thoughts from me on that one. And then I did a buddy read with my friend Jane on Liberty by Caitlin Greenidge. This was about Liberty, who it's supposed to take place in, or it does take place in Reconstruction era Brooklyn. And Liberty's mom is a doctor, and she wants Liberty to also be a doctor because there weren't a lot of Black doctors, especially female doctors, for the Black community at that time. Liberty doesn't want to be a doctor. She ends up getting married and moving to Haiti. And I definitely talk a lot more about it in my mid-month wrap-up, which, as I said, I'll link below. This just didn't, it was trying to do too much. And this was her debut. I don't know if she's written anything else. I did like the writing style, so I'm not marking this author off a list. But I have run into this with some debuts before where they just try and do too much in one book. And it takes away from what could be a really compelling, moving story. There were parts of this, the mother-daughter relationship is probably the thing that I wish that the author had focused more on. But it was still worth the read, and I enjoyed reading it with Jane. 3 stars for that one. I did read 2 middle grade for Hallowtween, which is a readathon, and I'll link the hosts below. I read The Little Match Girl Strikes Back by Emma Carroll with illustrations by Lauren Child. I previously read a book by Emma Carroll and really liked it, and I can't remember what it was called. In the something wood. I'll put it at the bottom. I really liked that book. I just can't think off the top of my head what the name of it was. The Little Match Girl Strikes Back is based on the fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen about a real figure, the Little Match Girl. And I didn't remember that story from childhood. I do know that I read Hans Christian Andersen when I was a kid, but I don't remember that one. And Emma Carroll used kind of that story to base her book off of, but she wanted it to have a more uplifting storyline. Bridie is the little girl, and she is selling matches from the match factory on the streets, and her mom works at the match factory. The match factory boss management, they have really bad employee conditions, and they were using white phosphorus to do the tip of the match in, and that is very dangerous. And so there were a lot of things that were, her mom was sick, a lot of the coworkers were sick, and we just kind of follow Bridie through trying to get better conditions, but also food for her family. It's her mom and her little brother to eat. I just really felt like it wasn't I don't know. There just was something missing from the story. And maybe it just seemed a bit unrealistic how fast it happened. But again, like, that's just me. That's me as a reader. I'm a realist. Sometimes I have a hard time suspending belief. But I will say, one thing I will say, the illustrations are amazing. They're just amazing. And for that alone, I'm glad that I read this. I did give this 3 stars. And then I did a buddy read with my friend Andy, and I didn't love this book. Kind of bummed actually by this book, but I read Ghost Girl by Ali Melaneko, and I previously read Disappearing House by the same author and really liked it. I'm pretty sure I gave that 5 stars. Ghost Girl follows Z, whose mom has passed away. The dad has gone off to find work, and she's being raised by her older sister. And her best friend, Elijah, has like a father that just is mean to him. He wants him to be some kind of athlete, and Elijah doesn't want to be an athlete. And Elijah's mom, we know, is sick. And Z encounters some things in her neighborhood that aren't what they appear. Yeah. She gets bullied by a few a few classmates. One of them is named Nellie, and if anyone, like, I just picture Nellie Olson from Little House on the Prairie show when I was a kid. Um, that personality kind of fit this Nellie in the beginning of the book. And yeah, so it's about a kid being bullied, and then weird things start happening. Um, and it all kind of surrounds a new principal. I just didn't like this book. I first of all felt like it was a little too scary. It says on the back it's for 8 to 12-year-olds. It freaked me out a little bit. And I can read horror, adult horror, a good bit of it without any issue. But this just didn't seem like a good middle grade read, which is weird because I feel like I've heard other people really like this book. And so I actually read the second or the last half of it, last couple of chapters of it a second time after finishing it, because I finished it late last night and just wasn't sure. Okay, maybe I missed something, what was happening at the end, and I wasn't missing anything. So yeah, not this one was kind of a bummer. And I only gave it 2 stars, which I hate to rate that low, but it just missed the mark for me. Too too scary, too spooky for the age group, but also um, I was confused as to what was going on. And the wrap up at the end was quick, convenient, didn't really feel like it was thought out well. And then there's a part with Elijah's mom that really, like, they talk about her and her illness in like one paragraph, and it was just it's a big deal what she's dealing with, and how it was handled I didn't really love either. Which again is surprising to me because Disappearing House deals with a childhood cancer survivor, and I felt like that was handled really well. And I don't know, I mean, I love debuts. This is the author's debut, and I had read her newer work first. So I don't know if that impacted it. I feel like if I had read this one first, I might not have picked up Disappearing House. So there's that too. If I had to pick which book was my favorite, I would say the Emily Henry. So October's favorite book was Emily Henry. People we meet on vacation. I hope to get to more Emily Henry soon. Let me know in the comments, what was your favorite book of October? Let me know if you've read any of these, if you have any differing opinions. I love to hear multiple views of the same book. It's always interesting to hear what other people think and point me in directions that I don't really think of. Is really helpful too. I hope y'all are doing well. I'm about to start some books for my next reboot, my reading year vlog. We're doing vlogs for those. And yeah, if you're interested to see if I can find a 5-star, please consider subscribing. And I will see you very soon. Bye.